Thank you all for being here today. We appreciate everyone coming. Today we are going to talk about the 6 pillars of brain health. And Marcus Mitchell is going to be your presenter. He's an AARP Rhode Island volunteer. Marcus Mitchell is a past volunteer president of AARP Rhode Island. He's currently a member of the AARP Rhode Island Executive Council, the co-lead of their Volunteer Speakers Bureau, and he serves as the AARP liaison for the City of Providence Age Friendly Task Force. He's the founder of a strategic solutions company with focus areas in crisis management, small business startups, continuity of operations and community issues mediation, and he serves on the Miriam Hospital Board of Trustees and on the Board of Directors of Grow Smart RI, the Village Common, and the RI Environmental Educators Association. So today, you're going to learn about the 6 pillars of brain health, where it's never too late to focus on your brain health. In this interactive session presented by AARP Rhode Island, you will learn about the 6 pillars of brain health, activities that support brain health, and hopefully be inspired by others. This section is a good overview for anyone interested in learning more about brain health, and will provide you with information on the latest research on brain health, lifestyle suggestions, and resources to learn more. So without further ado, here's Marcus.
Thank you very much. My mother wrote that. Welcome everyone. It's my pleasure to be here today. And first, just wanted to be very informal and relaxed, and hopefully you can endure my humor. So, I always like to make a lot of social observations wherever I go, throughout all these travels. So I have to point out that you're the only man in the room. and it makes me wonder about talking about brain health. What are the men thinking of brain health?
I think they don't need that.
Well, I'm going to go there, right?
Either that or we're here for that.
Yeah, I know, right?
I could go on for an hour about that. So, we're going to talk about 6 pillars of brain health. If anybody thought that this was going to be like about brain health related to Hannibal Lecter or anything like that, you're in the wrong room. That's not what we're here to talk about. That lecture is down the hall. So we're going to talk about our own brain health and keeping our brains healthy throughout our lifetimes. And it really starts early on. The earlier, the better. So, I have to give this disclaimer. Not intended. It's informal educational. It does not constitute medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. You should always seek the advice of a physician or other qualified healthcare provider for diagnosis and treatment of your specific medical needs. For questions regarding personal health or medical conditions, and before beginning or changing any treatment, activity, program, or dietary plan. AARP is not responsible for the consequences of any decisions or actions taken in reliance upon or as a result of the information provided during this event. Always talk to your doctor before you make any changes about concerning your health. So, good news is that regardless of your age, there are things you can do to enhance your brain health throughout your life, and maintaining your cognitive abilities throughout your life. the thinking used to be that you were born with all the brain cells that you were going to have. And that once you start to lose brain cells, you couldn't get them back. So we find that that's not completely true. It's not true. Brain cells do regenerate, and our cognitive health is really about only 30% of our what you're born with. The other 70% largely can be controlled or dictated by your habits, what you do for yourself. So you have 70% control over how your brain can develop and maintain throughout life. This is our agenda for today. 6 pillars of brain health. So you can remember all 6 of these by an acronym. So be more. So you want to be more brain healthy. So you can start each one of these 6 as one of the first letters. So it's one of the letters. So be social, engage your brain, manage stress, ongoing exercise, restorative sleep, and eat right. Why is brain health more important than ever? So, in a previous life, I was a research scientist, and what we said 30 years ago was that people who were born after the millennium, 2000, if you were born there barring any trauma, that the chances are that you were going to live to be 100 years old. So that's outside of thinking that I grew up with and planning for a much shorter life. So if you're going to have a longer life, you very much like, I think we'd all like that, have good brain functions throughout that. You want to be active and you want to be engaged. You want to be able to enjoy those extra years. So you're adding life to your years. On that note, economically and scientifically, with longer life, people are rethinking their retirement. They're working longer careers. They're starting a different career after the first 1 or 2, and they're opening businesses. They're rethinking their retirement. They're also skyrocketing healthcare costs. So I see heads nodding. I think we're all familiar with that. Healthcare costs are going through the roof, and whatever we can do to diminish those costs helps us in the long run. And the current brain research. So I'll talk a little bit more about the current brain research and where you can find some of the information about what's happening, stay more up to date and abreast of different developments about brain research and the good news that we have from that research. So pillar number 1 is be social. So that doesn't, mean like when I was in my 20s, being social, what that means, but it means being social and staying social. So you want to stay socially engaged, and this is all good for your brain and your brain health. So the research shows that the more socially engaged we are, that we maintain our relationships and that we're engaged with our family, our friends, our neighbors, our community, that it's much better for your brain. It's much better for your brain health. So you want to avoid isolation. So throughout the pandemic, we found that social isolation, people being confined in their homes, had a tremendously damaging effect on them, and lots of them were older folks. So AARP actually had a program to call people in their homes to help keep them engaged and let them not be so isolated when we were all isolated. There are some people that didn't have any contact with anyone, and AARP recognized that it was important for them to have contact as well, not just for their social well-being, but for their mental health well-being. So you want to avoid isolation. So I'm going to get involved. So you can join the club at AARP, right? It's not a club, but an organization. You can participate in sports. One of our premier volunteers, he's in his 70s, plays basketball, plays softball and baseball. He's very active, in great shape, and he's a great guy. I still do a lot of sports myself. I don't play basketball anymore because I don't want my feet to hurt the next day. Run up and down the court. But I ride a scooter. I have an electric scooter that I ride around, and all my various meetings that were outlined in the bio, it really is convenient for me to go from one meeting to the other so that I don't have to worry about parking. I don't have to deal with the traffic. Parking and the traffic are the big things. But that's a whole nother story we can talk about. So you want to attend community events. Community events, meetings, summer is upon us. There are lots of events outside. All that is good for your mental well-being. So you want to consider adopting a pet or a pet sitting. So that if you don't want to commit to a pet, you can always, there are always folks looking for someone to babysit their furry baby.
Simulation is down.
And you can volunteer for that. You can volunteer with a local nonprofit, AARP. You can organize a regular virtual game night, book club. My family does this. We have a game night once a month with the family. And for me, it's a great opportunity to just sit down with the grandchildren and the children and have some fun for an evening. And you can attend virtual community events. So, AARP also has virtual activities. So we'll go over that at the end, where you can tap into a lot of different very fun activities virtually. So during the pandemic, this really came to fruition. We had Tai Chi classes, dance classes, cooking classes, Master Gardener classes, laughter, yoga. Does anybody do yoga? So, laughter yoga, there's a gentleman who he advocates that laughing is a form of exercise, and I agree, and that laughing promotes all sorts of internal and health benefits. So here are some AARP resources for connection. There's Create the Good, volunteer opportunities. So Create the Good, I love Create the Good. Create the Good has all sorts of DIY projects already formed, and you can just tap into, and resources are right there. It's already boxed for you, and you can just plug it into whatever aspect in your community that you want to do. I do a lot of work with emergency management and emergency preparedness. There are a couple of different programs around emergency preparedness, which, just a sidebar here, senior population during an event, emergency situation, is the first hit, the hardest hit, and the last to recover. So I'm big on preparing seniors, the senior population and community for disaster preparedness. But there are other things in the Create the Good package that you can see. And I urge you to take a look at these. You can Google any of this, or there are materials over here that will have these websites and addresses there that you can tap into. But you can take a screenshot, and then you'll have that information that you can look at later. So, AARP Virtual Community Center. So there are other opportunities there. for events, online events, virtual events. And that's very good. And last is the AARP Friendly Voices, and that's the program I was just telling you about, where there are people, volunteers will call people on the list who want to have a phone call from a friendly voice. I've done that program. It's very rewarding. It's nice to talk to people and get to meet people over the phone and talk with them and spend time with them. And that is very, very much appreciated. So. Pillar number 2 is engage your brain. So you want to engage your brain. You want to have continuous learning. You want to keep curiosity in the things that you do. You've all heard the expression, your brain is like a computer, and it's going to, you want it to stay active and continue to explore new things. So you want to challenge your brain in new ways so you can pursue new interests and challenge your thinking. So sitting and watching Gilligan's Island reruns for 7 or 8 hours a day, every day, is probably not going to do it. Although, I have to admit, the professor's the only guy I know that can make a radio out of coconut. Yeah, so you want to challenge yourself. So you can take a class or teach a class. So some of my business development courses, I always talk about people, especially retirees, who are ending one career and they can start another career. In consulting, because you're teaching, you have a wealth of experience through your lifetime and your career. So just because that job is ending doesn't mean that your knowledge is ending. You still have a wealth of knowledge to offer to other people. So, and that's throughout your entire life that you can offer that and teach other people. That will engage your brain. You have to put together a class or presentation to talk with people. Engaging your brain, keeping your brain active. You can learn a new language. Again, you can dance or pick up a musical instrument. So try complex arts and crafts. So some of those arts and crafts are good for you physically, manipulating your hands and that kind of thing as well. But it's also good for your mind. You can play challenging card games or board games. What's that? I was waiting for somebody to say it, so thank you very much. So how many people play? Oh, okay, good. Say it. There you go. And she's teaching, so she's engaging. She's using her brain too, in more ways than one. So you can manage your stress. So how many of you have children? All right. So this helps throughout your entire life. Exercise regularly. Exercise helps with your circulation. So research scientist career was cardiovascular pharmacology. So all into circulation and the benefits of good circulation and keeping your veins and arteries healthy. So exercise helps with all that. Good for your brain. You don't want to have a stroke. Smiling and laughing. Again, it releases hormones into your system that promotes good brain health and promotes good circulation, promotes good cell health. You can distract yourself from stressful situations with music and reading. Take your mind off of that. You can take breaks. When you take a break when you find yourself in a stressful situation. And lastly, you want to seek out green spaces. So I'm a big proponent of green space, and particularly in city environments. Folks need green space, and they need to get out of just being surrounded by concrete and having a good place to sit and meditate, listen to birds chirping, and taking in some sun. All this is very good for relieving your stress and promoting good mental health. So what can you do to manage stress? You can confide in your friends, unless they're the source of your stress. You can be silent and still. Martial arts, I've been practicing martial arts since I was 10 years old. And meditation is a big part of that. So part of my daily routine is to, when I wake up, I pray and I meditate. And it settles me for the beginning of my day. And most of my days are very busy, moving from place to place and lots of things to tend to. That meditation settles me and frames my day for me. So, we take stretch breaks. Stretching is very good for you. Stretching your muscles promotes release of tension, and it also promotes good circulation. Again, you want to limit your screen time. So, sitting in front of the computer for hours is not good for your stress. It will stress you. I wanted to mention one thing. So this is something that I had to come to grips with. Is glasses. If you need glasses, wear your glasses. Right? If you need readers, wear your readers. Your eyes. If you're struggling to read what's on the screen or in the book or on the paper or the magazine, it's stressing you. It's stressing you physically, and it's stressing your brain. For me, I was resistant to that. I teased my father. He had like 130 readers all over the house. They were in the car, they were in every room in the house. And I'm like, what is this? So he said, I need these. Now I know. I don't have 130 of them, but I probably have 30 of them. Right? And you want to take deep breaths. Again, taking deep breaths. So I'm going to give you a little exercise right now that you can do right now in your seats. Take a few seconds to do this. So you want to do 3 cycles of this. So it's breathing. So it's deep breathing. And if you have any discomfort, then you shouldn't do it. If it's causing you any pain or anything like that, then don't do it. But if you can just sit and we're going to take a deep breath in, and I'll start you off with saying the breath should take, we're going to say 4 seconds. So you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold it for 4 seconds, then you release it for 4 seconds, and you wait for another 4 seconds. That's one cycle. That's one cycle. So that's 16 seconds. So if you do that 3 times, so we're going to do it 1 time. So remember, it's 4 seconds for each stage of the one cycle. So you can close your eyes. Just inhale. So you want to count for you. Just want to inhale slowly for 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Release it slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's one cycle. So if you do that 3 times, you may feel an effect after that 1 cycle. Does anybody feel an effect after that 1 cycle? If you do it 3 times, you will feel it. As you practice that, if you continue to practice that, you want to extend the time. So ultimately, you want to get to about 9 seconds. But don't rush yourself. Take your time. As you start to get used to that and develop that, then you can expand it from 4 seconds to 5 seconds, 6 seconds, and so on. But I do that throughout the day. If I have some meeting that has stressed me, I I will go to a room and I will do that breathing exercise, and it really works. Ongoing exercise. So you want to get at least 150 minutes of exercise a week. So really what that means is 30 minutes 5 times a week. So you can spread that out, and it doesn't have to be 30 minutes at one time. Walking is great. You go for a walk for 10 or 15 minutes, once during the day, once in the evening before you go. That's 30 minutes for that day. And it has tremendous benefits for you. Again, circulation and just keeping your muscles going, keeping you more flexible. It all promotes circulation, good circulation, and it also promotes good mental health. So, walking, I'm a big proponent of walking and getting outside and moving around. So if you can't get outside, walking inside. During the winter months, we're here in Rhode Island, weather's unpredictable, you can still walk in the house. For me, I'll walk up and down the steps a couple of times. Only do that if it's safe for you to do that, but it's good for, again, for your physical health and your mental health. So, again, it increases circulation, reduces the risk of diabetes, heart disease, depression, stroke. You want to reduce all those factors that will affect your brain. Each of those diseases affects your brain, and you don't want any of those. So it also reduces anxiety and increases increases good quality sleep. So we'll talk about that. So here we go again: walking, dancing, running, biking, strength training, Tai Chi, yoga, all kinds of things. Play a sport if you just want to play with your children, your grandchildren. Does anybody have any other thoughts about what they can do for ongoing exercise? Yes.
I got my dad and my mom, they share it for bad weather too, as one of those peddlers
That.
of the house.
They're great, yep.
So if they're not feeling up to whatever, But it's really good. They use it actually on really bad days where they sit in their living room and they pedal.
That's great. So I have one for my parents as well, but it just sits there. It's been sitting there for like 5 years.
Oh, wow.
So that's great, but your parents actually use it.
Yeah, they do.
That's great.
My dad goes to Walmart and walks too in the bad weather.
There you go.
He'll be at the street and he walks around Walmart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good in the summer because if it's too hot.
Yeah.
It's air conditioned and you can walk around.
I was just gonna add, swimming.
Swimming.
Something to
Oh, yeah.
Very good.
joints and.
That's right, and it's low impact and very good
Plus,
exercise.
They have the warm ones, right, over at the thermal pool. They
Right,
have
they do. Yep, they have a heated pool.
heated for the older,
Oh.
yeah.
That's great. Swimming is a really good exercise. That's great. Any other thoughts?
I enjoyed a walking group.
That's right.
There's volunteers that have walking groups in different islands. They do them at malls and at the high schools around the tracks.
We have some walking groups connected with AARP, walking in the parks and that kind of thing. So all that, I urge you, take a look at our website, the Rhode Island website. You can see upcoming events or activities, and most of them are free. And yes, Darlene Reserossi in the back. She has brochures for us with some of those activities for the small. There are also materials over here with that information on as well. But again, I urge you to go to the website. You can see things coming up, and you can register there on the website. So restorative sleep. How many people get enough sleep? That's good. That's good. I don't. I know that I don't. So, and I try to actively work on getting enough sleep. So it's a concerted effort for me to say, okay, look, we've got to go to sleep and we've got to get rest to replenish yourself. So, sleep, they're finding that sleep is good for your brain. It's good for cellular regeneration in your brain. It reestablishes neural pathways. It's good for your brain needs time to relax. So, brain works on electrochemical activity and shooting electrical impulses across the synapses of your brain that can't go on 24 hours a day. It's unsustainable. You'll wear out your brain. So you need to get good sleep and give your brain a chance to relax and recover and restore itself. So part of that is getting enough sleep. So 7 to 8 hours in a 24-hour period. So I'll tell you a quick story. So my kids are they're my barometer. Right? So but they'll tell me, they say, Daddy, you're full of useless information. So here's a piece of useless information, but hopefully we can use it here. So we have our circadian rhythm. It's how we sleep. But 200 years ago, we didn't sleep the way we sleep today. People would come home from work and do their chores and have dinner and go to sleep, and then they would wake up 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and walk around. Everybody was awake. People would go and visit their friends at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and you would talk. Just like going over in the afternoon, you would go and visit your friends and say people were awake, and they would say, "Oh yeah, come on in," right? Because that's the way our brains naturally work. That we sleep for like 4 hours at a time. But technology and industry has changed our sleeping patterns so that now we expect to sleep for 8 hours, 7 or 8 hours at a time. But your brain and your body naturally are inclined to sleep for like 4 hours at a time, and then wake up and then go back to sleep for another 4 hours. So this note that says 7 to 8 hours in a 24-hour period doesn't mean you have to sleep 7 hours all at once. And taking a nap during the day is all right if you can do that, right? It's good for you. It's good for your brain. Right? So you want to maintain a regular sleeping pattern. So don't go to sleep at 8 o'clock one day and then midnight the next day, and then waking up at different times. You want to try to get a consistent sleeping pattern so that your body will get into that rhythm again. So you want to expose yourself to outdoor light. So again, your brain is working off of primal instincts and nature. So if it's regulated by sunlight, and your brain will register with the sunlight, your body will also. You want to make sure that you get exposed to sunlight during the day, and then you'll have better sleep at night. So you want to accept changes. So your body's internal clock shifts. Sometimes your body will shift, especially they find that from 30 to 60, your sleeping pattern changes. I also saw some research where we're struggling with and fighting with our teenagers to say, "Come on, get up, gotta get to school." Well, they naturally don't wake up in the morning, so you're forcing them to get up outside of what their brains and their bodies are telling them whereas their natural sleeping patterns. So we can cut them a little bit of slack, but they still have to get up to go to school. But understand what's going on. So but our sleeping patterns change, so be accepting of those changes in sleeping patterns and the useless information that I just gave you about circadian rhythms. Sleep is more easily interrupted, right? I want to talk a little bit about this. So the era that we're in with our devices. So we have our cell phones. So your cell phone is pinging all night long unless you turn it off, right? So it's pinging when it gets an email in the middle of the night from some marketer sending some advertisement telling you to buy something. You're getting text messages, again from some marketer in the middle of the night. It may ring. Sometimes when it pings, it lights up as well. Your brain picks that up. Even though you have your eyelids closed, your brain will still pick up that change in the light in the room. That means your brain's not sleeping. It's registering those activities. It can hear the sound. It can see the light. Don't sleep with your TV on. You've got sound. You've got light. Don't sleep with the radio on. Right? You want to have a dark, quiet space for you to sleep in and restore your brain, give your brain a chance to relax and recover. So here's the biggie. You want to adjust your caffeine intake. Right? I very rarely drink coffee. I never developed a real taste for coffee. Right? When I was in school, I worked, so I needed to go to sleep when I had a chance to go to sleep. So I'm like, I'm not going to have any coffee, and then I can't go to sleep when I have a chance to go to sleep. Having said all that, you should really curtail your caffeine intake, and it's not just coffee, it's soda, especially colas, all have caffeine in them after lunch. So you want to really curtail that. So I'm not an advocate for having a cup of coffee or two after dinner. That's going to really affect your sleeping at night. So you want to keep your pets out of the room, out of your bedroom. Some of them want to wake you up. Some of them want to start barking. Some of them want to come and kiss you while you're sleeping. It's nice, it's sweet, but it's waking you up. Right? So you want to restrict fluids, drinking fluids before you go to sleep. Right? You don't have to be a scientist. If you drink a gallon of water before you go to sleep, you go to the bathroom, right? So they want to get up in the middle of the night and go to the bathroom. So try not to do that. For me, my rule is usually I try not to drink anything after 8 o'clock. Right? So, and then I can pretty much go through the night without having to get up. So, eat right is pillar number 6. So all these health benefits, I did want to tell you all, I'll share with you. I have a condition. I have a health condition called Dunlap's disease, and does anybody know what Dunlap's disease is? Yeah. So when I was talking to my doctor about it, he didn't know what it was either. But I told him it was when my belly lapped over my belt. You like that? So this is my problem. So eating right, you have to eat right, right?
How do you spell that? Potato chips today.
Okay, see, there you go. Right. So you want to eat right. It's good for your overall health, but it's also particularly good for your brain. There are certain diets that you can have, and we don't promote any particular, like any of these fad diets or anything like that. It's just the food. What food do you eat that's good for your brain? So you want to eat less meat. Of course, you want to eat less salt and less sweets. So sugar, refined sugar, bad for your brain. Salt, bad for your heart health and your kidney health, and that's bad for your brain. Circulation again, right? So meat, especially processed meats, sodiums and that kind of thing, ultimately bad for your brain. So you want to try to avoid those things if you can, limit them as much as you can. So instead you want to have fish and seafood, right? Nuts, walnuts, almonds. I think pistachios are good for you. I eat pistachios. They're good for you. Right? Cashews, even though I love them, they have a lot of fat. Right? So, yeah, you want to try to pay attention to what each thing does for you. Right? So, different grains. So, we all know about whole grains, multi-grains. You want to stay away from processed food like white rice and that kind of thing. So, beans, legumes, leafy green vegetables, spinach, kale, collard greens, mustard greens, all those leafy green vegetables are very good for you. Berries, fresh, frozen. I'm always a big advocate for fresh. Are very good for you. Combat antioxidants. It's good for your overall health, but in particular good for your circulatory health and brain health. And you want to use healthy fats, and a big component of olive oil. So I'll take a shot of olive oil in the morning. That's good for it's good for your circulation, good for your digestive tract, and good for your arteries. You want your arteries not to get brittle. You want it to stay pretty pliable.
There's an eggs on there.
What's that?
Eggs. Why is an eggs on there? That's very important.
So there are lots of things. So I eat eggs, but it depends on the person. So some people can have eggs and it's good for them. I think that some people may want to avoid eggs. So I eat eggs. I think that they're good for you, but that's not part of the presentation, so I'm trying to make it right?
I do have to say that nuts, what I get from my father-in-law, because he doesn't like to eat lunch, so I'll give him some fruit and some nuts. But at Walmart, they actually sell some like GMO organic big bag of Omega nut mix.
Yeah.
So I get that, and also at like TJ Maxx, they have the big bags of the little packages of Omega 1 and another one of antioxidants. So I'll grab both of those with all the little and he loves eating those as snacks.
That's very good. That's good.
And those are GMO free at TJ Maxx too.
And it's good for your digestive tract and
Yeah.
overall health. Again, a lot of this is overall health, but it has a tremendous and specific impact on your brain. So thank you. So here we go. I just mentioned all these things. Salmon and sardines in particular are good for you. Walnuts, almonds, kale, spinach, broccoli, vinegar. So I use apple cider vinegar also, very good for you. The doctor, so at my doctor again, Dr. Vinny Van Boom, does anybody know? Yeah, no, but you know who Dr. Vinny Van Boom is? That was Rodney Dangerfield's doctor, he would always talk about it. Anyhow, I'm going to my doctor and talking to him, and he says, you know what, your blood pressure is getting kind of high, dude. So I'm like, well, do I need to go on medication? So he's like, well, if you stop eating a box of Entenmann donuts, you may not have to go. So I stopped doing that, but what I also started doing was using apple cider vinegar. So I would take, a little teaspoon, a tablespoon, put it in some water, a glass of water, and with some lemon juice and some other things. Drink that, blood pressure went down. I come back to him and he says, what happened? Your blood pressure's down and your A1C is down and everything. I'm like, apple cider vinegar. He said, whatever you're doing, continue to do that. So, it works. Natural stuff. Again, research. So my first position doing research was, the first paper that I wrote was on marine alga. And it was because I worked in natural products. So the drugs that we take, 98% of them come from natural products. So it's something that was out in nature that was refined or created synthetically that we take now. So food as medicine, I believe in that wholeheartedly. You can take things that can help you. Quick story on that note about paying attention to the diet and what food can do for you. So my wife, she had a medical condition, and we were sleeping, and she wakes up and she's telling me her head hurts, and I take her blood pressure. Her blood pressure was through the roof. It was like 220 over 100 or something. It was that was indicative of a stroke. So we called her doctors, and they were like, oh, well, you got to go into the hospital, and she wasn't up for that. So I said, let's try something. So we gave her some hot sauce. 2 tablespoons of hot sauce.
Tablespoons?
2 tablespoons of hot sauce. Put it in her mouth, right? And I said, don't spit it out, don't swallow it, just hold it under your tongue. Right? Of course, she didn't like that. But took her blood pressure back to normal in a few minutes. After about 10 minutes, her blood pressure was back to normal. Hot peppers, hot sauce is made out of, have an active ingredient called capsaicin. Capsaicin is a vasodilator that lowers your blood pressure. So we went into the doctor's office, Benny Van Boom again, right? So I said, so she's like, Marcus gave me this hot sauce and it lowered my blood pressure. And he said, how's that? So I said, it's capsaicin. So I said, that's right, you're absolutely right. So I said, you need to write a paper about that. So, anyway, a quick story. Just pay attention to what you're eating, because it can help you if you understand what's in it. So risks or threats to brain health. So you can see the diagram up here. Smoking. If you're still smoking, try to stop smoking or limit your smoking. Very, very bad for your circulatory health and your brain health. So depression. We want to engage in some of the suggestions that we gave about staying active and staying engaged with your community. Depression, we found, again, through some of the isolation, but also other studies, that depression has a profound effect on your physical brain health, the physiology of your brain. So, there are certain medications, including antihistamines, that can affect your brain health, again, through circulation, diminished circulatory activity and abilities. Talk to your doctor before you make any changes. Ask him about the medications that you may be taking, and if there's an alternative that's better for your brain health. So, diabetes has a profound effect on your brain health because it affects your circulation and other metabolic activity in your body. It ultimately affects your whole body, your circulatory system, and your brain. leads to stroke and all kinds of other bad things. So, hearing and vision loss, alluded to this earlier when we were talking about wearing your glasses. So again, it's how much stress are you putting on your brain with your hearing and your vision. If you need help, don't unnecessarily stress your brain to hear and see. Help it, make it easier. So I mean, it took me reading the same, paragraph 6 times before I said, hey, dude, you need to get some glasses. Heart disease, you want to, aside from having a heart attack, but again, all that affects your brain. Heart disease and circulatory disease, that you can get blood clots that can give you a stroke and cause all sorts of other problems. You can have embolisms in your lungs, and that breathing will create problems for your circulation and getting enough oxygen to your organs, including your brain. So, tips that may help you focus. So you want to establish a routine. Establish a routine. So I was telling you about my routine of waking up in the morning and then going and getting started with things and checking emails and that kind of thing. There's routine I'll follow, right, for the most part. And then you're going to bed at night. So you want to pay attention. When somebody is talking or when you're doing something, you want to pay attention to that. It goes right into the next item, which is avoid multitask. People think that they can multitask. You can't. It's scientifically proven. Your brain really only focuses on one thing at a time. Now, your brain may jump from thing to thing in a matter of a millisecond, but you're really only thinking about one thing at a time. So it's really better for your brain and your brain health if you and your ability to remember things if you can focus on one thing at a time and do that. So you want to take breaks. Don't want to stress yourself. No need to continue to try to do something when you're dead tired and you're reading the same paragraph 6 times. Right? So let's take a break, take a nap, go for a walk, give your brain a break. So here's the big one for me. Use calendars, reminders, and alarms. So my cell phone is it. Right? So I use the calendar in my cell phone to put in everything. So it will tell me every meeting that I have to attend, what time it is, where I need to be, how long it's going to take me to get from point A to point B, and it'll give me an alarm. So it'll tell me, and so I set the alarm and say, hey, so if I'm doing something else, I've been distracted with something else, or some other meeting is going too long, this thing will go off and be ding, and then I'm looking like, gotta go. If I left it up to me, forget it, right? I really urge you, use your calendar and your cell phone. Major advantage and tool that you can use. I want to give you one other tidbit. So on this note, part of my routine for the day, what is the most effective 15 minutes of your day?
First wake
Anybody?
up? First wake up?
I couldn't hear you.
When you first wake up?
No.
First cup of coffee.
No.
Planning the night.
That's right. The 15 minutes before you go to bed, before you go to sleep, you want to plan your day the next day. That 15 minutes is so valuable.
I'm more effective.
So it does so many things. It organizes you, and your brain will work on that. So that when you wake up in the morning, you're not stressed. You're not waking up saying, well, what I need to do? I'm awake now. What do I need to do? You already know what you need to do. It's already planned out. It relieves any stress that you might have. It reduces the stress that you might have overnight thinking about what you need to do in the morning when you get up. And when your day starts off that way, unstressed, it really leads to the rest of the day being unstressed. Until you get out on 95 and try to cross the bridge. That's a whole different story. So you want to live a lifestyle that incorporates the 6 pillars of Brain Health. Be mentally, physically, and socially active with special attention to diet, better sleep, and stress reduction. So I want you to think about what your day will look like using the 6 pillars. So what's going to look like when you wake up? What would you do? Incorporating these 6 pillars. What are you going to do in the morning? What are you going to do at lunch? What are you going to have for lunch? Early afternoon activity, late afternoon activity, dinner, what are you going to have for dinner? What are you going to do around dinner time? And what are you going to do in your evening hours? Again, you want to reduce stress, you want to have a good diet, and you want to have better sleep. So think about what your day will look like as you incorporate these 6 pillars of brain health. So what can you do today? I want you to leave here today. So I'm always good for giving marching orders for people to do something. You want to come out of here with something that you're going to do today. And it doesn't have to be anything complicated. It doesn't have to be anything big. You can go for a 10-minute walk. And you did that today. You can have an extra serving of vegetables with your meal. That's the first step. You can use your calendar. First step. You can take 15 minutes tonight before you go to sleep and think about what your next day is going to look like. You can do the little breathing exercise that I gave. You can do little things to get you started. Right? But think about what you're going to do today and write it down somewhere. Put it in your calendar. Put it in your cell phone in your calendar. But what you're going to do today. All right? It will help you. You want to get support from your friends, family, and your community for what you're doing. Somebody mentioned walking groups, so you might want to start a walking group or at least get a buddy who's going to go walking with you. You might want to start game night. So in my neighborhood, we did start a game night in the neighborhood where the families would come together and play games. But we would also bring some people who were by themselves, and they would come in. So at any age, so there are people who are younger, who are alone, and they could use some social connections. Older people as well. Bring everybody together. So, but you want to build support through the whole community, in your families and in your home for these 6 pillars. So here are some resources. And these are in the materials over here as well. So there's AARP Brain Health, and I would urge you to just Google that, or you can go directly to that website. There's Staying Sharp, AARP, and Staying Sharp has all sorts of activities in there to add on to what we talked about today, that you can look at. And the Global Council on Brain Health is in collaboration with AARP, scientists, and giving updates on the latest research and findings around brain health. So for me, I like that, and I go there and see what they're offering and what the new findings are regularly, but it's interesting to me. So Staying Sharp. Here are some of our upcoming events. So Darlene, could you stand up so everybody can see you? Darlene Reservasi is our Associate State Director for Outreach, and she runs these programs and organizes all these things. So you can see everybody dance, Tai Chi, healthy cooking, there's a bike safety workshop. It's getting warm and we have people out working. So there's lunchtime tech talk, and laughter yoga that I mentioned earlier. So these are just some of the things that are coming up. We also have other things where you come out to, and movies for grown-ups. one of the things. So you can come out and join us for movies, and it's a lot of fun. So you might have 30, 40 people coming out, and we're all watching a movie together, and sponsored by AARP. So keep an eye out. Again, I urge you, visit the website and see what's coming up for AARP Rhode Island. So if you want to volunteer with us, you can reach out to Darlene Reservasi, and here's her email. But we also have big advocacy. So it's legislative advocacy, going down to the State House, talking with the elected officials at every level. And Matt Netto is our Associate State Director for Advocacy. You can reach out to him. He has meetings on Monday morning at 10 o'clock typically, where we talk about the upcoming legislation, and if we want to go over and visit the State House and advocate for the issues that impact the 50-plus community. But it's not just the 50-plus community. Those issues impact the families and the entire community. So in conclusion, there are 6 pillars of brain health, and what's the acronym to remember?
Be more.
Be more, very good. So, brain health risks, tips for improving memory, brain health day, and personal commitment, and resources. So, I urge you to look at the resources and take one of those small steps today. So, does anybody have any questions? No, thank you very much. No. Does anybody have any questions?